excellent candidates, but I'd like to ask each of you what sets you apart from the other candidates.
Thank you, Matt, for the question. I think, as I tried to touch on a little bit in my introduction, what sets me apart from the other candidates is the skill set that I bring to this election, this campaign. The experience that I've had working in governments from the city level to the state level to federal level, even the international levels in a number of the cases that I've worked, I think have given me a good understanding of the way the government works, a good understanding of the things the government does well, and a tremendous understanding of those things the government doesn't do so well. And I think that that skill set, along with the ability to interact with people as a trained an instructor in interview and interrogation and a hostage negotiator, I've spent a lot of time trying to reduce emotion in individuals and bring people together to work toward common goals. And I think that again, that skill set will serve me very well in the Missouri State Legislature.
Go that way now? I'm sorry. We've been going that way. You're messing. Gary, you told me I was next.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've always been in a leadership role. From high school, I didn't even mention the fact that I worked at Six Flags. I moved up. My father was a builder when I was a young man, so I learned how to work with my hands in building. So when I went to Six Flags, it was one of the first places I worked when I came up here, and I moved myself up because of my engineering background with the military as rides coordinator over the construction of the rides out in the park. So that was a leadership role for me, working with all the contractors and back in the office with the architect and the engineer. So if there was any problems out on the rides, they went through me, and then I went through the office. So, you know, always a leadership role. When I worked at the Danforth Center, it was the same thing. I ran all the equipment through the computers, and if it wasn't working through the computers, I had to do the hands-on. So, in my military background, let me tell you this, if you've ever taken 175 soldiers to a foreign country and let them off for a weekend, you're lucky to have any hair left. As you can see, I still have my hair. So it's a challenge when you work with soldiers, especially soldiers that are very young, very inexperienced, and you must have the ability to lead, and lead instantly. There's no procrastinating in the military. And I think everybody knows how excellent our military is today. And I just want to reaffirm the fact that I am a leader. I am not a follower.
Well, I touched on mine as well, I believe, in my opening statement. I'm in business for myself. I'm the only person in this race that has business ownership experience. But it goes beyond that, actually, because it's, the vocation I have is I have worked with lawyers and legalese and contracts and businesses and institutions every day. That's my daily life. I've made a living serving other people for 35 years, serving, obviously, my customers. The communicative skills and listening and answering and dealing with my customers is really no different, in my opinion, than what it's going to take in Jefferson City. The communicating skills is necessary as a legislator. I really believe that my business background and my vocational experiences really count for a lot.
Thank you, Matt, for the question. I think I want to answer that twofold. First off, in my work experience, I've had the opportunity of working in retail management for over 16 years as manager. And with that, I actually had various levels. I worked with small departments, as well as stores, as well as running multiple stores in a district atmosphere. So the management experience is one that I have. But secondfold, my education is through public policy. And with the workings of the government, I've been able to take that and been active in conservative causes out there fighting. You and I have been out there working together in several campaigns. John Judd, Bill Schriever, I saw you back here, also Carl Hendrickson and all, Jim Bodenstein, Kathy, everyone. There's a ton of folks in this room that I've been out there fighting in the trenches with. We've been fighting for, regardless if it's stopping the cloning issue in Amendment B, working for protecting the constitutional rights and giving us the rights for concealed carry and other rights, protecting the First Amendment by participating in pro-life atmospheres, out demonstrating, doing peaceful demonstrations at Planned Parenthood or at a rally supporting the Black Missourians for Life. So I've had the opportunity to work with a variety of causes, which gives me, I think, the best experience of everybody here from knowing what we, the people, want to see happen from our leaders. I've been doing that for several years. I can do more than just sit up here and provide talk about this is what I'm going to do on a policy, this is how I'm going to react. I've walked that walk, and I'm very proud that most of you in this room have been there with me.